Okay, 8th grade. So I just wanted to make a little video here to make sure you understood how to solve story problems using systems of linear equations. So it says this one's going to be pretty basic to start. The second one will be a little more advanced. So this first one says you and your friend sold a combined 81 balloons. You sold 17 more than your friend. How many balloons did each of you sell? Well, first of all, we have two people. We have you and your friend. And so we know that combined you sold 81 balloons. So we're going to let X represent you and Y is going to represent your friend. And combined, X is how many you sold, Y is how many your friend sold, and the problem tells us that combined you scored 81, or you sold 81. The second part of the problem says you sold 17 more balloons than your friend. So that tells me that if you sold 17 more balloons than your friend, that tells me that the number of balloons that you sold minus 17 equals how many your friend sold, which is Y. And it's easier if you can get these in slope-intercept form. This is slope-intercept form. We just have the Y on this side. But we want to go ahead and rewrite these both in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take this second one, and we're just going to flip it around, and we're going to make it Y equals X minus 17. Then this one, to get Y by itself, we're going to subtract X from both sides. So that's going to give me Y equals negative X plus 81. Now all I do is set them up. So I'm going to have negative X plus 81 equaling X minus 17. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to add X to both sides. That's going to give me 0. I'm going to add X over here. That's going to give me 2X. I've got to get a 0 on this side, so I'm going to add 17 here. That's going to give me 0. I'm going to add 17 here. 81 plus 17 is going to give me 98. And that's going to leave me with 2X equals 98. Well, if 2X equals 98, X equals 49, okay? And sure enough, 49 times 2 equals 98. But now I have to figure out how many your friend sold. We now know that you sold 49. So you sold 49, X equals 49. So I'm going to go into one of my equations, and it just says that X minus 17 equals Y. So I can just do 49 minus 17. So I'm going to come over here, do a little scratch work. 49 minus 17, 9 minus 7 is 2, 4 minus 1 is 3. It looks like Y equals 32. And just for good measure, to make sure it works, 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 3 is 1. There's a difference of 17. You sold 17 more than your friend, and combined, they make 81. So both equations are true. Now, if we look at the second one, we have my personal favorite football team here, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Dallas Cowboys, my least favorite football team, combined for 56 points in the game. The Eagles, represented by X, scored 8 more points than twice what the Cowboys, represented by Y, scored. So of course the Eagles are going to win. How many points did each team score? Well, first of all, we have to set up a system of linear equations. So first of all, we know that X is how many points the Eagles scored, plus Y, which is how many points the Cowboys scored, combined to score 56 points. It tells us right here, combined for 56 points. So the number of points the Eagles scored plus the number of points the Cowboys scored equals 56. All right? Then it says, okay, the Eagles X scored 8 more points than twice what the Cowboys scored. The Eagles X scored 8 more points than twice what the Cowboys scored. this can be a little confusing on how to set this up. So you want to walk through it very closely. First of all, it says 8 more. So that's going to be an addition. When I do 8 more, I know I'm adding 8. And it says they scored 8 more than twice what the Cowboys scored. So I don't know what the Cowboys scored. It's just Y, but it says twice what they scored. So that sounds like if it's twice what they scored, it's 2Y. But the Eagles scored 8 more than that, and this is going to represent X, what the Eagles scored. So I have what the Eagles scored plus what the Cowboys scored equals 56. And what the Eagles scored here is represented by 8 more than twice what the Cowboys scored, Y. So the first thing I want to do is get everything in slope-intercept form. If I bring this X over here, I'm going to be subtracting X from both sides. So that tells me that Y equals negative X plus 56. And I better work on this one. First of all, I better isolate Y. So 2Y equals, I'm going to have to subtract 8 from both sides. That's going to give me 0. It's going to be X minus 8. So 2Y equals X minus 8. Because I subtracted 8 from here, that's kind of hard to read, but that gives me 0. And then I do X minus 8 here. I have to isolate Y by dividing everything by 2. So Y equals, now this is interesting now because I got to show X divided by 2. We might think that that should be written as X over 2, but that can get a little confusing. But you're 8th graders, so you should know that dividing something by 2 over 1 is the same as multiplying it by 1 over 2. You just make the division sign a multiplication sign, make the reciprocal. So instead of X divided by 2, I'm actually going to set this up as 1/2 X. And then negative 8 divided by 4, or sorry, negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. So I have slope-intercept form here. I have slope-intercept form here. So now I'm going to set this up, and I'm just going to use my finger to erase some of that. Sorry about that. And I'm going to set this up as negative X plus 56 equals 1/2 X minus 4. All right. And so, first of all, I want to isolate X. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm going to add X to both sides. That's going to give me 0. If I add X here, remember there's no number there, so it's like a 1. So this is actually going to become 1.5 X. Or, if I like it better, it doesn't really matter, 3 over 2X. All right? I need a 0 on this side too, so it's going to become plus 4. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add 4. 56 plus 4 is 60. That leaves me with 3 over 2X equals 60. All right, so now, if 3 over 2X equals 60, to solve for X, I've got to do 60 divided by 3 over 2. Well, 60 divided by 3 over 2, or technically 60 over 1, really remember is 60 over 1 times 2 over 3. I can cross multiply or cross check here by dividing both of these by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 60 divided by 3 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. 1 times 1 is 1. 40 over 1 equals 40. X equals 40. The Eagles scored 40 points. Okay? So now I've got to plug that back into my equation. X plus Y equals 56, or however that works. So essentially, this tells me, if I want to plug it in to figure out Y, 40 plus Y equals 56, because X plus Y is 56, X is 40. I can subtract 40 from both sides. That gives me 0 to isolate Y. I subtract 40 there. 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 4 is 1. It looks like y equals 16. X equals 40, y equals 16. Now, let's double check, because it's always good to double check and make sure it works. First of all, we were told that combined, they scored 56 points. Well, sure enough, 40 plus 16 equals 56. It also tells us that the Eagles, X, scored 8 more points than twice what the Cowboys scored. Well, the Cowboys scored 16. If I times that by 2, 16 times 2 is 32. And then if I add 8 to that, 32 plus 8 is 40. Those numbers work for both equations. Eagles win 40-16, the way it ought to be. All right, talk to you later, 8th graders. I hope this helped. If you had any questions, bye.